Hey, Liquidfire. So we're going to be streaming the arena here. Looks like Jonas Wrath is streaming too. Let me give him a shout out here. For anyone who's not following Jonas, definitely follow him. So because Jonas is streaming it, I might choose the second highest game instead of the highest game. Let's see. Looks like we started. All right. I'm gonna go with the second highest game for now. I'm gonna assume Jonas is gonna stream the highest one. So I think right now there's 2 games going on. Hopefully there will be more. This is arena number 10. And these arenas, I guess do a little introduction. Start a stream here. These arenas are for the 4-player chess solo rapid world championship in the old setup. So the old setup is one that has been traditionally used. 1 year ago, they switched the default setup, and the switch, I think, changes the king and queen positions of blue and green, or just one of them, or something like that. But it makes openings a lot different. So a lot of us are used to the old setup, and the old setup leads to a wider variety of positions, whereas the new setup, everyone basically plays the same. So I strongly prefer the old setup, as do a lot of players who've been around for a while. But anyway, there are qualifying arenas. So there are specifically 16 qualifying arenas. And this is one of them. This is arena number 10. What we're watching is 4-player chess. They call it free-for-all, but really it's solo. So there's 1 winner and 3 losers, every man for themselves. The way the arena is scored is that first place, the winner, gets 2 points. Everyone else gets no points. So whoever accumulates the most points in the period of time of the arena, which is 2 hours, wins the arena. 4-player arenas are a little different from normal chess.com arenas in that if a game has started in the time period, it counts. So if a game starts basically an hour and 50 minutes from now, and that game takes another hour to finish, the result is still going to count in the arena scoring. So the winners of those 16 arenas progress to semifinals. And these 16 arenas take place over 2 weekends. So last weekend and this weekend, on Saturday and Sunday, each day there are 4 arenas at the times of 0 UTC, 12 UTC, 16 UTC, and 20 UTC. The 16 winners progress to semifinals. In the semifinals, the 4 players who qualified from the same time compete in a 4-player chess match, which is not just one game, but a series of games where you have to accumulate a certain score. I don't know what that score is off the top of my head. So you'll have 4 arena winners compete in from 0 UTC, 4 arena winners compete in from 12 UTC, etc. So each of those matches, there would be 1 winner. So you'll have 4 winners total in the semifinals. Those 4 winners will go to the finals. Then there will be a match among those 4, and the winner of that is our champion. The one wrinkle is that the defending champion Icy Stun if he chooses to defend his title, replaces one of the arena winners, and he gets to decide on Sunday which arena he wants to replace, such that that arena will not happen. So he could take a look at the results from the first Saturday and Sunday and the second Saturday and decide which group he wants to compete against or which time he wants to compete against. So we are watching one of the games from arena number 10. This is a solo game in the old setup, and the time control here is 10 minutes with no increment. Okay, based on these arrows from red, we're going to assume red is probably either, I assume it's Jesse. I think GS is already qualified. So GS is another person who would give arrows like this. I think GS qualified last weekend. So anyway, we have no increment. Most of the time, 4-player chess is played with an increment or a delay, which allows extra time each move. Right, well, increment allows extra time each move. A delay would allow players to, there would be a time bank for each move that runs down, and once you get out of your time bank, you start eating into your the residual time you have available for all moves. But here we're playing with no delay, no increment, so the players have 10 minutes to make all their moves the entire game. Okay, blue has chosen to take the bishop, so he would like green to make a threat against red. A threat such as pawn up or knight takes, one of those, or even queen sack. We'll see whether green follows through. If he keeps red busy, like with pawn up, and red chooses to save his queen, then he won't be taking the blue queen. And then blue can retreat and have won a free bishop. So we'll see whether something like that actually happens. Meanwhile, yellow is going to keep green busy. So yellow threatening take, although its rook would hang. So let's see how green chooses to react. Yellow, for that one move, used what, something like 3 minutes. Let's go back a move and see how much time he took for this. Oh, I'm sorry, it doesn't show me times when I go back to the moves. It would at the end of the game, but when we're in the game, it just shows the moves. But yeah, yellow's already at 6 minutes. Everyone else up around 8-9 minutes. Green going into the tank because this is a critical position that will decide whether green has just sacked the queen for a bishop, or whether green sacks a piece to help blue gain a piece. The meta in 4-player chess is, even though it's an individual game, at the high levels, and when I say high levels, typically it's above 2400. The players play it as if it is teams with opposites coordinating with one another. So in this case, and we do see green attack the red queen, blue attacks the yellow queen to keep yellow busy, so that yellow will not take this stuff. I think this could theoretically be a reasonable move for yellow to keep green busy. I guess he could defend the queen. Yellow could ignore this and just take. This move seems reasonable, although blue would almost certainly go after yellow. How could he go after yellow? He could take, threaten in a check. Okay, I mean, we might see this take anyway. We might see this take. I think blue's job is to keep yellow busy. So is this something that red could somehow support? I don't think so. But maybe I'm missing something here. Okay, so the green queen is being attacked. What can green do? Maybe he goes after this pawn, and they both go after yellow, something like that. Red is somewhat underdeveloped. This bishop isn't really looking at anything. That's his only long-range piece. Knight can't do anything useful except to attack this queen. If green moves the queen away, maybe red could tempo this knight, but I mean, green could just sack the knight. It looks like blue and green have an opportunity to go after yellow. So anyway, at the high levels, they play as if it's teams with opposites coordinated with one another. So red coordinates with yellow, and green coordinates with blue, at least in this 4-player stage. They don't have to, and sometimes players don't, but very often you will see yellow and red seem to hang their queens to one another, or yellow might put his queen like where a pawn could take it from red, and red will not take that queen. On the other hand, once one player has been eliminated, we go from the 4-player stage to the 3-player stage. In the 3-player stage, players no longer work together as opposites, but you may see informal alliances. And by the way, when red and yellow work together as opposites, it's informal. You're not allowed to formally communicate. Like you can't go into the chat and say, hey red, take that bishop, or hey red, move there. Hey red, move your knight. Or hey red, let's attack green. That is not allowed. But the meta is informally known. By the way, these arenas, the first weekend, the rating criteria was above 2,600 in order to participate. This weekend, that criteria has been lowered, just because the feeling was there weren't enough participants in the past arenas, and there may not be enough people at that rating level who are interested. So the rating criteria has been dropped to 2,400. So these arenas are 2,400 and above. And we may see some 2,400s in games like this. So let's look and see the piece balance. So yellow is down a knight, bishop, and queen. Green is down a knight and queen. Blue is down a bishop and queen. Red is down a bishop and queen. So red, yellow are doing worse than blue, green. Yellow is doing the worst of anyone. Yellow's king is very vulnerable, and long term it's not going to have a great time as it doesn't have a corner to go to. So as far as the other players, red has some activity with his open rook file. Red has the possibility of parking his king on e1, either by castling or just moving his king over there, which long term is going to be a good pawn structure. Eventually, red may choose to push d4, but he could wait to do that. Green eventually could get his king to n10, where he has the possibility of a decent pawn structure with safety for his king. Blue doesn't have a great place to go with this pawn structure, but he'll probably end up with the queen on a5. Hide behind these pawns here. I don't really like that this pawn is on d5 for blue. So if I had to assess the long-term king safety, I would say long-term red is going to have the safest king. Green would be second as far as king safety. Blue would be third, and yellow would be fourth. So yellow's just in a bad position all around. Yellow looking to get some activity. Eventually, we'll probably see this bishop fee in shadow. Maybe you can go after this rook. In the meantime, what is green going to do? Maybe he'll take this pawn. Maybe he'll ignore that for now. Just get his rook out. He can wait to go after the yellow pawn. But he's probably worried that red may eventually take this pawn at the same time that yellow attacks green. So to stop that, maybe he'll take the red pawn first. So everyone's going to be looking for activity. Everyone's going to be looking for king safety. Green is just taking the pawn. Yeah, I assume red is going to look to get his king to e1. I guess something I neglected to consider is that red lacks the light square bishop, which would be a very good defending piece to have on e2. So that makes red's king safety a little worse. Blue, when he gets his king eventually to a5, is going to have a light square bishop for b5. Blue's pawn structure is reasonable as far as pawns not hanging, but not great for king safety. Green still has both of his bishops, and when green eventually parks his king on n10, he could theoretically have his light squared bishop on m10. So maybe green has the safest long-term king after all. Right now, red's knight that is on d4 is acting as a blocker, preventing these pawns from doing too much. And this is an outpost, hard to dislodge without trading a knight or sacking a bishop. Pawn can't attack this knight right now because of this backwards pawn. We see green going for a king safety. What was that? Just a pawn? Yeah, okay. The red is snagged a free pawn. And is actually going after this rook. That gives an opportunity to yellow. Maybe yellow even wants to go after this pawn or something like that. Blue is wisely keeping red busy. So I think red is going to have to retreat this knight. Because this trade would ruin red's pawn structure. So red does not want to let that happen. On the other hand, if he retreats the knight, the pawn may just push, which would still ruin red's pawn structure. I think blue has basically made a decision. He's not going to get his king over to a5. Oh, maybe he still will. The question for blue is, does he want to weaken red's structure while at the same time weakening his own structure? Or does he want to keep his structure secure and not attack red at this particular moment. So red is retreating that bishop. Green getting a lot of activity. Eventually this knight is going to move. Probably not yet, because this rook could be sacked to the bishop. So I think even if red could take the rook, even though theoretically rooks are better than bishops, red is not going to trade away his last bishop unless he gets something really good for it. So yeah, I like that yellow has parked this knight here with a long-term threat on taking the pawn to hurt the structure of green. If this pawn were to move, we could take the L11 pawn with check. Probably the idea is that red is going to make a threat on these pieces. But red is going for king safety first. Blue is trying to undermine red's structure. Blue traded bishops with yellow. A little bit surprising, but that helps green's safety. So now bishop can't go after this pawn. Maybe yellow brings the rook to attack the pawn, also possibly centralize. Yellow has errored that move. Will probably happen. We see the king safety of red is somewhat in shambles. Okay, actually the rook defends. Yellow has noticed that as well. I should have noticed that earlier. Green could possibly liquidate this yellow pawn. But right now the yellow pawn has nowhere to go and may serve as a blocker protecting the king. Maybe he'll keep the yellow pawn there for a bit. No reason to take it immediately. And instead, he's gonna get some activity with his rook. So red trying to get some activity. Red's pawn structure is reasonable. I don't like red's king safety. On the other hand, blue has nothing to attack him with right now. Blue is out of bishops and queens. Yellow arrow spammed. I don't know why. Did yellow feel like he missed an opportunity somewhere? I don't know. Okay, so this is a backwards pawn that green is attacking. Blue also threatening to attack a pawn. And then possibly attacking the knight in the process. But red has to do something about that. It's a hard situation. Maybe he just pushes the pawn to attack the knight. Yeah, I don't know. I guess he could also retreat the knight to defend the pawn, attack the rook at the same time. But I mean, blue is attacking. Okay, so yellow has a check. Yellow drawing a lot of arrows. So they could possibly try to win this knight if yellow is able to check green a few times. Looks like red is more looking at attacking blue. Okay, so yellow wants to double up on this bishop. If they did that, I think blue would try to harass red. This is a good square because it also threatens a check on yellow and is defended by the green knight. but maybe I'm wrong about that. We'll see. Okay, what is the purpose of this move for blue? I guess he's attacking the pawn defended by the knight, trying to undermine red's structure a little bit more. Why did he push this pawn? Oh, okay. So it looks like yellow wanted to set up a king capture. Not only a king capture, but with a promotion for yellow. That is clever, but red didn't see it. So yellow a bit frustrated with red. Red is probably frustrated with yellow, as red did not see that idea. Red just sees yellow didn't support my rook, and that hung the rook to green. These guys are not on the same page. Yellow now gets to promote. Maybe blue, or no, actually green can just defend the square. So it doesn't do very much. So I think yellow doesn't promote now, but he hopes that green doesn't block. If green were not to block, then if yellow were to make like a weighted move, like king over, if green did something useless, like pawn push, then we could have rook takes check, yellow promotes, which would defend. Actually, I guess red is defending this pawn anyway with its bishop. So this is already looking like a decent type of attack. How does he defend this? Could go bishop here, go rook here, could push the pawn. He's in some trouble. Okay. So yellow sacking a knight because the king can just take that. Blue is trying to go hard against red. He may even sack his rook at an opportune time. May take the bishop. Okay, actually taking the bishop could be a good idea, because then this rook would be hanging. So yellow is going to support that by promoting, even if blue takes the bishop. So if blue takes the bishop, red will have the option of taking back. I still think yellow has to promote. And here, red can get in the way. Most likely here. I don't know what yellow's thinking about. If yellow doesn't promote, he's just a dumbass, and red will never trust him again. The red has to get in the way. Otherwise, many of these pieces will fall. That's a mate. No, it's not. I'm sorry. It's defended. That's not a mate either, because green can take. Well, yellow gets to go. Yeah, red really has to play this move. Ooh, that's terrible. Now blue is gonna take the yellow queen. Yeah, blue and red are just not on the same page here. A lot of blunders from red and yellow. Okay, yellow just took a red pawn. I think yellow is through with red. He looks at red as not knowing what he's doing, so he's going to choose to help to checkmate red, since red is not supporting him at all. So yeah, Pepe Lu, when you're an observer, you can see the arrows. So I'm observing, I'm not playing, so I can see all the arrows. Yeah, so they're drawing them for the audience, and also for themselves, can help to see ideas, but I mean, they know there's an audience. So I think, so you see some of these players are not drawing any arrows, some are drawing a lot of arrows. Pepe Lu is saying Queen J8. Oh, I'm sorry, Queen J8. Let's look back and see if there was a mate missed. Oh, you mean if red hadn't been a dumbass? If red had played something like this? I don't think queen g8 would... Oh, okay. This would still be supported. Queen g8 looks... Yeah, that looks pretty matey. I think you're right. I think they could have made it green there. No, I'm sorry. Bishop out means that it's not immediate mate, but it would be mate next move. But yeah, I mean, for sure, a lot of misses from red. Oh, wow, that came out of nowhere. Oh my god, holy cow. Okay. So red blundered by allowing that to be taken. Blue goes after red. Yellow goes after blue. And I think the idea here... so I don't know why... I mean, green decided to mate his opposite and picked up a yellow rook in the process. That's kind of funny. So yeah, a little odd that green went after his opposite. I think blue has been working well with his opposite. It's red who has not been working well. So let's look at the situation here. Red has one rook, green has two rooks, yellow has one rook, but yellow poised about to promote. Actually, green is guarding this promotion square, another promotion square, well, not a promotion square, but the other square guarded by two different rooks. Green wants to stop these promotion ideas. Probably green wants to take this pawn, and he has. Why did he move rook here? That seems like an odd place for it. I think this makes more sense. Maybe it was a mouse slip. So he wants to get rid of yellow's pawn that's on the brink of promotion. After he does that, he wants to get rid of red's pawn near promotion. Green has the least pawns left. Red has 3 pawn islands. Yellow has pawns that are coordinated. I don't think green is going to want to, red is going to want to trade away his one remaining rook. So green has been allowed to nab a pawn. I think green's going to continue offering trades to these guys, assuming none of them is going to want to trade away. Wait, what? Oh, okay. Yeah, he could have retrieved the rook anyway. I was wondering if yellow had an opportunity to go after that. Oh, another thing I neglected to point out is the time situation. Green has 8 seconds. So green is going to have to throw in a lot of pre-moves. Green is far up on the point count. Green with 65 points compared to yellow's 22 points. Red's 35 points. If green can mate either of these two players, green can claim a win because he will be more than 20 points up. And even if yellow were to mate red, green could claim a win on yellow. If red mates green, then he would have 55 points, so he could not claim a win there. So with his time situation, that's an interesting move. Is red gonna go for it? He should. Oh, wow. Does yellow take? Okay, so green would like to promote a pawn. This is his promotion square. And I guess red could be a blocker, but he's not going to. Okay, yellow is gonna check green. That would allow red to promote though. I guess if red promotes, yellow could promote rather than take it. No, never mind. Oh, he could take with check. Okay. Very interesting. Now green has a queen. This is looking great for green. Oh, okay. Yeah. Green can just lop that up. If green can take these two pawns, even sack for them, he just wins. So I think I don't like that. Okay, well, it works. Okay. Ostre Meg. Oh, sorry for getting rid of that. But Ostre Meg is the winner. It looks like 99 Matthew 99 finishes second. So 99 Matthew 99 is 2550. He would not have qualified for the first set of arenas. He qualifies for this weekend's arenas. Icy says in chat, all of you played so badly. What the fuck was that, Red? Yeah, Red for sure played pretty terribly. I think Red was annoyed that Yellow didn't support his rook, though. But yeah, Red played horribly. The blue was Night Love Raver, who was eager to get in these arenas. We see Night Love Raver in the chat sometimes. Icy is not Icy Stun. Icy is a guy named Jesse. So chess.com started allowing username changes for people who are premium members, that they can pick a username that has been unused for a period of time. And Jesse grabbed the name Icy. And there's some people who are annoyed by that. They think he's kind of impersonating Icy Stun. He claims that he's not, that it's unrelated. All right, we're going to take a look at another game here. But first, let me see how many games are going on. We have 1, 2, 3. 3 games going on right now. So let's take a look at the second game. As again, I assume Jonas Rath is going to be covering the highest rated game. I think he's still streaming, right? Maybe I should check to see which position he's covering. Okay, I can't tell right now. All right, anyway, this is a game in progress. Let's see what has happened so far. So red gets his queen out. This knight move, the idea is to prevent checkmates. Okay, we are at the live position. Red and yellow have active queens. Looks like red making a threat against blue. How is blue going to respond? Green's queen not quite as active, but can get active pretty quickly. He has this diagonal available. Green could tempo the yellow knight if need be. Green could also threaten a check on red if need be. So green's not really super inactive. This is a weird move. Why did yellow take that? What is... I don't understand what he wants red to do. I mean, does he want this? Does he want the queen to be threatened? I mean, the queen is defended him. It seems to me that yellow just hung a queen. So I'm not understanding yellow's move at all. I don't know what that was. Oh, so by the way, I am in a commentary booth in the 4-player chess server, but I could go someplace else. Pepe Lu, if you want to join me for commentary, let me know, or anyone else. I could jump in a Discord call. Okay, so blue-green basically up a queen now, because yellow hung his queen for no apparent reason. Okay, and this is going to be a mate threat on red. I have no idea why green retreated this. I mean, this was a very active piece, but okay. So right now, blue is king of the board. Let's look at king safety. So red is going to have a reasonable pawn structure for his king. Green can have a reasonable pawn structure on either side of the board to hide his king away. Yellow can have a reasonable pawn structure either side of the board. This, I'm assuming over here, eventually yellow could get this type of pawn structure. Blue still has his side pawns, so even though blue doesn't have much pawn development, the blue's still sitting pretty as far as king safety. Blue wants the castle eventually. So it looks like everyone is okay on king safety. Really, the story of this game is that yellow hung his queen for nothing, and it'd be interesting to know what yellow thought he was doing, because there looked like there was just nothing there. Thank you for the follow from Hexacomb 2 and UCEF KZ. Really appreciate it. Oh, Pepe Lou can't talk right now. Okay, that's okay. Another time, maybe. So there are 16 arenas here. 4 per day on so over 2 weekends, last weekend and this weekend. There are 4 arenas on Saturday, 4 arenas on Sunday, both weekends. We're in the second weekend. This is arena number 10. I'm trying to cover as many of the arenas as possible. I missed the very first arena, but I've covered every other arena. I think this weekend I'm going to miss at least a couple of the arenas, as my mother's visiting me right now, and like she lives several states over, so I don't want to spend all my time streaming and no time with her. Yeah, things are fine for us, UCEF. Welcome to the stream. Okay, this move gives an opportunity for blue. Actually, yeah, this is a very good move, taking the pawn. Or he could take this pawn, go for the rook. He takes this pawn and goes for the rook. I mean, they would get a rook somewhere, definitely. Red is not very developed. Red can't help out. I suppose red could take this, but okay. So it's a resignation from yellow. We're probably gonna see pawn push and or maybe just knight in. Knight in can be good as well. Blue is gonna try to get this mate. Green would like to snipe the mate somehow. So if he could somehow move these 2 knights and make that into a checkmate. I mean, he would like to snipe the mate on yellow. Yellow played absolutely horribly. I don't feel sorry for yellow for losing. I feel sorry to red because when your opposite plays terribly, you're sandwiched between 2 players. So what I mean by that is it's a lot easier for blue and green to coordinate to attack red than for any of the other coordinations to happen. More importantly, pawn promotions. So these pawns can promote. They promote on their was it 8th rank? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, they promote on their 8th rank. Red promotes here. So red's going to have to promote in the middle of the board, where he'll be contested by blue and green. On the other hand, blue and green have free reign to promote over here, far away from red. The promotions are going to be much, much easier for blue and green. And we see that green is already starting to rush a pawn. Green might want to get his king a little safer, but this really is looking like blue's game. Blue, only one with a queen. Blue has the most points at 19 points. Blue is the closest to mating yellow. Blue has easy promotion path. So, I mean, this is just looking great overall. This is a gamble. Yellow can just take this bishop, but because yellow has resigned, this king is moved by a computer, and it moves at random. So it has a 1/4 chance, 1 in 4 chance of taking the bishop. 3 in 4 chance, 75% chance of not taking the bishop. Okay, maybe I missed something there. I guess I missed whose move it was. So this provides another piece. So this bishop could help green to try to snipe a mate. And I think that was a good idea from blue to try to go for the mate himself and take the bishop from green that was attacking. This is a mate. So blue has, whoa, okay. Blue didn't want to give up his bishop because green threatened the bishop trade. But he can always mate later. Blue's still in the best position to mate yellow, get those 20 points. Green is rushing those pawns. These are green's promotion squares. Red, considering rushing pawns as well. By the way, red, even though red doesn't have a queen, red has more pieces. Red has all his pawns and all his pieces, except for his queen. And red has a fairly safe king. The red's position isn't terrible. It's just, it sucks that he's sandwiched between these players, and that yellow played like an idiot. Red hoping blue destroys green. Sure. I think red just assumes that blue is distracted, trying to checkmate yellow. And while he's distracted, red can get his pieces to better squares and go for promotions. That's 20 points for blue. Blue is at 49 points. Far ahead of yellow. I'm sorry. Well, that's true, far ahead of yellow, who's out, but also far ahead of red. 40 points ahead of red. So red has a lot of catching up to do. At this point, really, red and green should be teaming up on blue. Blue is too strong. But green may consider red too strong as well. I think red is the strongest as far as the position on the board. Even though blue has a queen, I like red's position better. Red is the strongest position as far as pieces on the board, and of course blue is running away with it on points. Green is laser focused on promoting these pawns. Red set up a pretty good pawn structure, and he's getting his pawns very near to the promised land for promotions. It should also be noted that this red bishop is attacking a critical square of blues. So if we were to see a promotion from green, then all of a sudden, well, that's not the promotion square. If we receive a promotion from green, all of a sudden, blue may feel vulnerable. Oh, that's a free promotion for red. Although maybe blue assumes that green will contest it, which he is not. And this is a great square to come back to. This is an okay square as well, but I mean, red could potentially let green promote. Oh, okay, that's another good point. Red is attacking a hanging knight. I don't like this move. I think he really should have put the queen here, where it was making a threat. Okay, but red has another queen. Will green trade off one of the 1-point queens? Or are they gonna all go after blue? Um, okay, green just retreated. This is a threat now. I think, well, let's see what blue does. But in the long term, keep in mind that blue has a 9-point queen, and these other guys have 1-point queens. So red, especially, who has 2 queens, would be happy to trade off one of his 1-point queens for the 9-point queen of blue. Red had queen I4, maybe. Let's see, where's I4? Queen I4. Let me go back, see where I missed that. So why is I4 a good square? Just to pin this knight? Is that the idea? Okay, so red is getting in there. Whoa, what did he take? Okay, he traded rooks. That's reasonable because red needs to get some points, and so does green. This still lets green promote. This lets blue stop the promotion if he chooses to, but I don't think he will. Blue is going for king safety. So I think this pawn is going to be long-term weak. Red could think about doubling up queens on this pawn. I guess the knight could come back to defend in theory. Green blocking the red pawn. Whoa, what was that? That's just like a free knight. Why are we giving free knights? Maybe he thinks it will undermine the structure. Okay, so green doesn't want to undermine his structure. And red using that opportunity to save his knight, bring it to better squares. This knight now defends the important pawn. This rook is under attack. Right now the queen defends. Queen under attack. This knight is defended several times. But everyone is looking for opportunities when a player might be attacked and they would like to also attack that player at the same time because it's hard to defend 2 things at once. And in that case, one of the players would be the beneficiary and get a free piece. JSHLAQ, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, Jishlak says, just wondering, is 1200 a good 4-player chess rating? Everything is relative. 1200 is amazing compared to people who are rated 500 and 600. Not so good compared to 2600s. So everything's relative. So here it looks like blue and green attacked red at the same time. So even though blue is winning on points, red had the best position as far as pieces. So they were both attacked at the same time. With this pawn take, green said to himself, I want to take advantage of this. And by the way, this piece is picked up as well. So red is now has far less of a piece lead. Blue's still running away with it on points. Blue with 53 points. Red with 19 points. That's the least points. Green with 29 points in the middle. So green catching up on points. Green has 2 queens, but is running out of other pieces. Green still has a very safe king. Although he's missing his bishop, he's going to bring back the queen to be a defensive piece. this queen parked here, going to be very good for defense. This bishop, very good for red's defense, but red is missing a pawn from his defensive formation. Blue has a reasonably safe king. The long-term blue's plans are going to be to try to promote these pawns. Maybe blue can try to line up on this diagonal against green. Red really wants to promote this pawn. Doesn't want this pawn here to fall, which it very well might fall, by the way, with this type of thing. Okay, green is not going after that pawn. So green is afraid that they'll double attack him. Red going for promotion, but this square is not defended anyway, so the rook could have just taken it. So maybe like this will happen. I think red wants to displace the rook. So the good thing this game is we haven't really seen much shuffling. And what I mean by shuffling is like useless moves that people make just to gain some time and let the other players do all the work. But so far, everyone has been making useful developing moves. So we could see a promotion here. The question is, are blue and green each going to attack a red piece? This doesn't attack anything, so our answer is no. So red gets to keep this new 1-point queen. Okay, I guess he's defending that pawn. Green may decide to take the bishop, which I think would be a good idea for him, but green is running out of pieces here. Okay, so green has a very defensive structure. I think green is hoping that blue and red are going to attack one another. Blue is going to push for these promotions. Red running out of pawns to promote. So this pawn is somewhat blocked by green's defenses. These two pawns, red does not want to push as they are critical for king safety. So blue, these two pawns are not critical for king safety. These three pawns are forming these three pawns here are forming the king safety for blue. So blue's decided these pawns have a future as queens. Green holding strong. Yeah, so green is waiting. This is the point at which you see some shuffling. Green doing some shuffling, but green actually probably wants to go after this pawn. He doesn't want to undermine his structure, but if he could take the pawn without undermining his structure, it makes sense to do. On the other hand, balance is important. Green may be concerned about red getting too weak. This is a bit of a weird move. I mean, I guess maybe he's attacking here. I don't understand. Okay, well, so red was going here before pushing. I don't understand why green didn't take this pawn, but maybe there's some reason that I'm missing. Oh, okay, never mind. The queen defended, so I'm stupid. So green didn't take the pawn because he didn't want to trade one of his few remaining queens. That's why. Oh, that's a pin. So we still could try to force trades with this 9-point queen at some point. I think red normally would like to trade a 1-point queen for a 9-point queen, but red and green are both worried. Red doesn't want to go down from 2 queens to 1 queen because then he'll be down a queen versus green. green doesn't want to go down from 2 queens to 1 queen, because then he'll be down a queen versus red. But as far as the point situation, it probably makes sense for these guys to weaken blue more and nab some points from blue. Looks like green is going to send this pawn. He figures this pawn is not critical for his defense. Remember, this pawn here is secure. Red is moving this way. He can't take backwards. So this is the last pawn that green has that isn't critical to his king safety. These 3 pawns critical to king safety. So green figures might as well try to promote it. Another queen for blue. Now they each have 2 queens. Finally, green goes after this pawn, and he's done so because the rook has blocked the red queen. I assume we're taking this. Okay, taken with rook, looks like. He wants to keep his 1-point queens. Oh, that's interesting. Getting in the mix. Wow. Okay. So that's a free rook, but I think he probably doesn't want to do that. If green can mate him somehow. If green can mate, okay. I think he shouldn't have done that. Oh, especially since that's a mate. So blue wins. Blue can claim. He has more than 20 points up. Oh, blue is Cha-Cha. Good to see Cha-Cha in the mix. So Cha-Cha not streaming, but is playing the arena. Great job to Cha-Cha. Cha-Cha over 3,000. Cha-Cha is a streamer as well. So green was Tony. ERD TMR. Red was, I'm not familiar with this guy. XC Blackfire. Yellow was Slayer. So yellow played terribly. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at another game. Awesome to see Cha-Cha in the mix. So a game has just started. High chances that Cha-Cha is going to be in this game. So let's look at it. Blue going after a red pawn. And by the way, this is like a mate threat coming up. Okay. So red is defended against the mate threat, but red has lost an important pawn. Yellow has only moved his queen, so yellow really needs to get more development. Wow. Why? What's the point of this move? I mean, it made sense if the bishop wasn't here, but I don't see how green exploit. Okay, then green is error, green goes after the queen, so it becomes a queen trade. But this does enable yellow to maybe pin that pawn. So I guess we're going to see something like this. What? This is a terrible move from yellow. Is this a mouse slip? What is yellow doing? What is the point of this move? I don't get it. Yellow playing like a moron. So maybe yellow is that Slayer guy again, because Slayer played like a moron last game. Who were the players in the previous game? Just like we had Cha-Cha Chess, or I think Cha-Cha Real Smooth on chess.com. We had Tony, who's I think like VDR, TMR, or something like that. We had a Slayer or something, and then the 4th guy was someone I wasn't familiar with. But you guys could like look at my VOD and rewind to see who the players were. I mean, it showed just a minute ago who they were from the last game. Yellow is a random bot. A random bot would not be able to qualify for this arena. You need to be 2400 plus to qualify. Hey, Nonstop XS. What does the winner get? Great question. So, again, this tournament format, just to briefly summarize, there are 16 qualifying arenas. This is arena number 10. Those 16 arenas are going to be put in groups of 4 for the semifinals, and each group of 4 will have one winner from those matches. That will get 4 people progress into the finals. Those 4 players play out to the finals, down to 1 winner. That 1 winner gets $1,000 provided by chess.com. So it's winners takes all, as far as I know. Jeffrey saying yellow is cursed. Maybe so. In 4-player chess, specifically in 4-player FFA, which really is solo. I'm going to put the rules of FFA in the chat in case people are not familiar. Or really, I should put the solo rules because chess.com, unfortunately, has effectively gotten rid of FFA. They've changed FFA so that it's the same as solo. There's no opportunity to play FFA anymore. Now you play what is called FFA, but really it's solo. So there's 1 winner and 3 losers. But you earn points by capturing pieces. Piece values are the same as normal chess with the exception of the bishop. So pawn is 1, knight is 3, bishop is 5. This bishop is a long-range piece. Rook is 5, queen is 9, and taking the king, capturing the king or checkmating the king is 20. You add up points throughout the game. So it's not a matter of how many people you checkmate, it's a matter of how many points you accumulate. And once there's only 1 player left, you take a look at the aggregated points, and whoever has the most points wins. So the last person remaining may not be the winner. The winner may be someone who's taken more points earlier in the game. Yeah, the bishop is 5. And I mean, we see why. It's such a huge board. Like, if you have a bishop, say, here, this bishop can go pretty damn far. This knight here, to get over there, it takes him, many, many moves. So bishops are much more powerful on this large board. Okay, so Pepe Lu. As of like a year and a half ago, FFA and solo were 2 different rating systems. So the difference was solo was winner takes all, and FFA or free for all you still had points, but with FFA, the winner would win a lot, second place would win a little, third place would lose a little, and fourth place would lose a lot. So the main difference was that you would win points for second place. Unfortunately, some of the 4-player admins liked solo more than FFA, and they initiated a change where they basically got rid of FFA and made everything solo, because they didn't like it when some people were playing for second place rather than first place. And we're not trying to win. We're just trying to get second and like eke up based on that, which is understandable. But at the high level, everyone still played for first place, so it didn't matter. In my opinion, it was a terrible change because previously players had the option. They could play solo or they could play FFA. It's just more options. And if you like solo, play solo. If you like FFA, play FFA. But they've removed the option of playing FFA. I personally liked FFA. I played solo too, but I liked FFA a lot better than solo. And I no longer have the ability to play FFA because they got rid of that whole game. I mean, they say they have FFA, but what is called FFA now is really solo. So there were a number of changes that were initiated at the same time around a year ago. So the first was getting rid of FFA. The second change was they changed the initial start-in position. they changed the starting position by switching the king and queen position of, I think, blue and green. And the net effect of that is it changed a lot of openings because it made it so that all the queens were pointed at the kings. And they called this new opening setup the new standard. And the effect of the new standard is everyone played exactly the same openings. They all would push their pawns to prevent the queen from coming in and checkmating them, and also opening up their own queens and come out on either side. We see the same openings every single game on New Standard, and it also leads to terrible pawn structures. So there's not much opening variety. New Standard, here we see a lot of opening variety. New Standard is just a much better game. Not only that, but the argument for going to New Standard rather than Old Standard was that blue green were at a huge disadvantage as opposed to red yellow. The reality is, I mean, in practice that wasn't actually the case. But the net effect of this is if blue and green do not coordinate with one another, green is basically dead from move 1. If blue doesn't help out green, and yellow and red decide to team up on green, there is nothing green can do. In New Standard, green is just dead from move 1, which I think is a terrible indictment on the New Standard position. But the people who like New Standard, specifically Jonas Rath, who's streaming right now as well, Jonas says that New Standard is the way to go. I should give a shout out to Jonas. Jonas is also streaming this arena. He's one of the main proponents of New Standard. You could go to Jonas Rath's stream and say, hey, why is New Standard better than the old setup? And he will give you his opinion. So yeah, that's another problem I have, Pepe Lu. In teams, you could argue that it's not good that red yellow has a big advantage on blue green. I mean, still that's not really a problem because overall, I mean, you get as many red yellow games as blue green games, so it works out as far as probability. But even if it's the case that teams would be better in the New Standard setup, that doesn't mean that you have to use that setup for FFA or solo. Okay, so that's the second change. Third change, they changed the default time control. The default time control used to be 1 minute with a 10-second delay. Default time control was changed to 1 minute with a 7-second increment. The main change is not the time, but it's the fact that they moved from a delay time control to an increment time control. With an increment time control, you get more time added to your clock every move no matter what, and then your time bank increases and you can use that time bank later however you want. With a delay time control, your time bank doesn't start ticking until you go through the delay period, but you never increase your initial time bank. The advantage of a delay time control is it slows players down. So there's no point whatsoever in pre-moving in a delay time control because you're not going to get extra time. You're just putting yourself in a worse position. So the delay time control discouraged pre-moves, encouraged thinking. In contrast, the increment time control encourages pre-moves because when you pre-move, you gain more time for your initial time bank. So there's been a lot more pre-moves, a lot less thinking in the increment time control. The argument for the increment time control was that, number one, people liked having more time in their bank, which I don't think is actually true. Number two, that the delay time control was confusing as people were unfamiliar with delay but were familiar with increment. I think increment has made the game substantially worse. So because of those three changes in aggregate, um, all of which were terrible. Um, I went from playing and streaming a lot of 4-player chess to pretty much giving up on 4-player chess streaming. So, I mean, I used to stream 4-player chess 1 day a week for, uh, like 5 to 8 hours. I went from that to playing maybe 1 game a month of 4-player chess. So at this point, I only play 4-player chess if I come across like a new streamer who is playing 4-player chess and is looking for people to play. And I'll say like, "Oh, I'll play in your game," and then I'll sub in, and they'll be like, "Oh my God, you're 2,500," and then they'll all target me. But it's still fun to play every now and then. Um, I think Teams has been hurt a lot less than FFA has. So I'm not opposed to playing and streaming Teams. The problem with Teams is I don't like playing in the random pool. I prefer to have a set teammate. So you have to find a set teammate. So like if Luke wanted to, Luke who is 4-player chess on chess.com and on Twitch, if he wanted to do some teams with me, I'd be happy to do that at any point. Or if another player wanted to do some teams, happy to do that. I'm very rusty, but I mean, I'm still, okay at teams. So yeah, I still find teams fun. I don't think they've destroyed teams. What they've really destroyed with these changes is FFA. Right, exactly, Pepe Low. It's like Bughouse, not the same with a random partner. And by the way, I think 4-player chess teams is implemented really well. Like, I really like the fact that you can draw arrows on the board and your teammate can see that, which we do not have in Bughouse. That would make Bughouse a lot better if I could draw arrows and my teammate could see it. Okay, so I've been focused on this discussion a lot, and I've missed a lot of these moves. Looks like red is in shambles. I'm going to go back to the beginning and just briefly run through the moves to see what has happened here. So blue has sacked on red. Yellow made a bonehead move. Queen trade between blue and yellow. Red still has the possibility of a good pawn structure. Yellow trading with green. Okay, red took a blue knight. I don't know why. That's a pretty terrible move. Bishops are much better than knights. I'm baffled by that move. Maybe red is just throwing. Yeah, that's another terrible move. So he could have just taken this, but I mean, okay, I suppose this pawn is going for this. So green structure disrupted a little bit, but so is red structure. So red has gotten rid of a pawn that could be useful in the long term. Okay, blue attacking the rook. And now we see them teaming up on red. This rook is in take. And now we see how red has lost basically everything. Yellow trying to at least get something out of it, taking a few pawns from green. Okay, red has undermined blue's structure a little bit. But really these pawns were doubled anyway. And blue really wants to walk his king over here to where the king is safer. That's going to happen eventually for sure. Okay, so red has a pawn and a dream. Basically, red's only chance is to promote, but they can take that pawn at any point. So red's basically dead. And this is another situation where, I mean, red's moves weren't great, but really red is mostly busted because yellow played terribly. Okay, so we're caught up to the live position. I like green's position the best. Well, maybe not. Maybe yellow's position is pretty good too. Actually, I guess yellow has the best position. I guess as far as pieces, yellow is down a bishop and a queen, as every other piece, although this knight is about to fall. Ooh, that's a mate for blue. Nice spotting by blue. So in the process, he's hung a knight, worth it for the 20 points. Now he can save his bishop. Blue doesn't have many pieces left though. Yellow has a lot of pieces left. Blue with the most points at 42. Yellow at 24. Green at 34. So blue not that far ahead on points. Blue has the worst position. Okay, yellow pushing the pawns. Yellow has a lot of pieces left, a lot of activity, closest to promotion. I like yellow's position a lot. Green still has a lot of possibilities. He has a bunch of pieces, a bunch of pawns to promote. Blue has a lot of pawns to promote, but he has like 2 different areas of pawns that aren't coordinated with one another. He has 2 bishops left. So we'll see how it plays out. So one meta that happens often is that, no problem, Pepilo. It's good to talk about this stuff as far as distraction. Often what will happen is when a player is checkmated early, like if red were checkmated early, there would be a lot of dead pieces left on the red side of the board. And sometimes green or blue would then walk their king around and hide among the dead pieces. In this case, all of red's pieces were taken, so there's no dead pieces at all to speak of, except for these 2 here. So yellow has promoted a queen, or promoted a pawn to a queen, so has the only queen involved. Possible check on blue. Maybe he goes after yellow. Okay, well, he's just eating. That was a free pawn, right? Yeah, free pawn. No complaints there. But no, never mind. That's defended. So blue has the point lead. It would make sense for them to coordinate against the person with the point lead. Yellow has the best position. It would make sense for them to coordinate against the person with the most pieces. I don't think that they're ever going to coordinate against green because green is in the worst position. Green going to try to get some king safety, so change his structure to get the king in a safer position. Maybe bring the king out here, something like that. Okay. So he wants to get these pieces to provide a nice pocket for his king. And then any pieces that aren't defending the king, he's going to use to get active and make some threats. Green going for solidity. Yep. Darkland Knight says, I'd like to play for 2nd place in FFA. Yeah, I never would play for 2nd place, but in FFA, back when it existed, I mean, sometimes you get in a position where you just feel like you don't have winning chances, and 2nd place is a reasonable consolation prize. So, I mean, what would often happen previously in FFA before they changed it to solo is you would try to eliminate a player. And once you eliminate another player, then you don't get 4th place. And 4th place is what you really fear. Is if you get 4th place, you lose a lot of points. At that point, the difference between 2nd and 3rd is negligible. So 3rd place loses a little bit. 2nd place gains a little bit, but not very much in either case. It might be like 1 point in either direction. if you're playing people around your same rating. So at that point, everyone kind of jockeys for position, trying to win. Uh, if it looks like they can't win, then they might just take second place. Um, that's the way that most FFA games kind of worked out. But like another meta with FFA, which didn't happen at the highest levels, but happened in some lower levels, is what could happen is opposites could team not just at the 4-player stage, but also at the 3-player stage. So if I'm red, I could coordinate with yellow, and we make green, then we make blue, then one of us gets first and the other gets second. So that happens sometimes. At the higher levels, when you got to the 3-player stage, it was always every man for himself. But the other thing about the second place possibility is it changed arena play a lot. Because in arena, the number of games that you get in matters, meaning the quicker you can finish a game, the more other games you can play. So in the arena format, it could definitely it could definitely make sense to grab a second place and move on to another game. Like if you could get, 3 or 4 second places in the time to get a first place, that could be a very good strategy. Okay, so the queen is being attacked. Okay, so these guys are coordinating to undermine yellow a lot. Whoa. Green is taking that. Okay. I would have thought that green would let blue undermine yellow a little more. But now blue is significantly undermined. At some point we could see this pawn push for a check. Wait, that could be mate even. Okay, so green's not going to go for it. But if green went there, then this would be mate for blue. But of course, green doesn't want to give blue the mate. Blue is going for promotions. He could promote on one of these squares. Green wants to stop the promotion, but he can't stop both squares at this point. Oh, actually, I guess yellow is covering that, so not going to happen. Blue would like green to move away from this file so that he can promote here. Yellow just wants to eat some of these pawns. If yellow could eat all these pawns, which blue's pieces are far away from, then these are promotion paths for these pawns. So we see yellow's plan. Green's kind of turtling up. At the right moment, he'll promote this pawn, but he doesn't want to risk losing the pawn. So Green's just trying to be a thorn in their sides, while not really doing much. So if he goes here, that's a promotion for blue. Oh, looks like the knight is hanging, which green has pointed out. And yellow doesn't defend. Are we going to take this? That does let blue promote. Blue's happy to see that. By the way, as far as time, yellow has the most time. So basically, yellow with 3 minutes, blue with 2 minutes, red with green with 1 minute 30 seconds. Eventually, when they get into danger zone, when one of them has less than 30 seconds if they're a rapid player, or less than 5 seconds if they're a hyper bullet player, then we'll start to see a lot of blunders. Because there is no increment, no delay. It's a sudden death time control. 10 minutes for the entire game. That's a check. But yellow moves before green, so green can't really exploit that. So blue would like to promote some more pawns. That hangs this pawn. But I guess the idea is that the knight would be in danger. Okay. I still feel like yellow is not dead. If I'm yellow, I'm just lopping up these pawns. Like, that's the plan. But blue gets to defend. This could be an interesting check. Not sure what the point of that is. Maybe he's looking long term. Okay, he's just shuffling, I guess. So green has undermined his king structure a little bit. They go for promotions. So, by the way, we're pretty sure Chow Chow Chess is one of the players in this game. The question for you all is, which one is Chow Chow Chess? My guess is yellow. My guess is Chow Chow is yellow, but I'm really not sure. Hey, Firefly. Yeah, as far as two players teaming up to mate the third player, the real question is who gets that checkmate. So who gets the 20 points? So if you give the 20 points to the other guy, can you win the 1v1? So can you accumulate? Well, first of all, are you in a position where you can checkmate your opponent if you give your opponent the mate on the other guy? And even if you did mate him, would you get enough points to win? So even if they can coordinate to mate, doesn't mean it's necessarily in their interest. Remember, this is solo, so there is one winner and three losers. So they are not going to, they're not going to go for a. This can be taken. What did he take there? He took a free knight because of this check. This is a mate threat though. Isn't this just mate? And it is. And that is a very good mate for blue because he can now claim. And turns out blue was Cha-Cha. Another win for Cha-Cha. Cha-Cha well on his way to winning this particular arena. Cha-Cha with at least 2 wins that we know of because we've watched 2 wins. So other players here. Second place was Slayer. Third place was Snake 4. Fourth place was Muppet Robin. So yeah, let's go. Lego Fire says Chow Chow Real Farmer. So generally there's 2 games going on in a particular arena. Oh, okay, so there's 2 games going on right now. Looks like, no, there's 3 games going on right now. There's 3 games going on right now, and a game has just ended. So we could potentially see a 4th game start up. But maybe there are 3 people waiting, and they need to find a 4th to come in order to start a game. Okay, so let's take a look at one of these existing games. Let me check Jonas's stream to see what he's streaming. I think he's streaming the top one. Okay. And he is streaming the top game. So we're going to look instead at the second game. First, let me see if another game has started. I don't think so. Okay. We're going to look at the second game. We're pretty far in, so let's go back to the beginning. So red getting active queen. Yellow's queen is active. That's just a free knight. Is there a threat? I don't think so. Yeah, that's just a free knight. Oh, red. So green has blocked his own queen development. Not a good idea for green. So blue down a piece. Red offering a trade with green. Oh, this is a great fork. So this is a check, by the way. So he may not even take the knight. Instead, they may try to coordinate to win this queen. Let's see what happens. Okay. I don't think this was... Oh, this was necessary. Because this would be mate. Okay, so green has sacked his queen to save yellow. And now this could happen. Potentially. Did he... That's just a pawn. Okay. So... I guess they want red to take this queen. And he is. Okay. So we could take this, or we could just move away and leave the threat. Let's see what we're choosing. We're just going to move away. This bishop is going to take a while to get out. So even though this king's a little vulnerable, it's not immediately vulnerable. Green saves the rook. Red saves the bishop. Knight for bishop trade. Certainly bishops are better than knights. So all the queens off the board. Red seems to have the best situation. Red is not missing any pieces apart from the queen. Missing this pawn, not great for red. Was there a way that red could have defended? I mean, I guess potentially he could have defended with the knight, but losing one pawn isn't that bad. Okay, we've caught up to the live position. A check threat from green. Not that it's a good check, but it's a possible check. Blue has a check threat on red. I think red probably going to go for king safety. Something maybe brings this rook to a more active and a safer position, so it can't be tempoed. I wonder, maybe they're thinking of a knight sack to win the red rook, but that would also undermine green's pawn structure. Not sure if green would be a fan. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were all caught up, but we're not. My bad. So some more. Okay, that's a check. Okay. Okay, so they can get in there. Red's rook is tempoed. I didn't even see this bishop card. Maybe they didn't either. I'm stupid there. But still, yellow's king not feeling very pleasant. Does this work? Or no, I'm sorry. This is defended by the bishop. So, whoa! What are you doing, Red? Red, we take that rook. Okay, so now we know that Red is an idiot. And yellow just resigns after that. Resigned based on red being an idiot, if we had to summarize. Okay, so now we're in a 3-player stage. Red seems to have a pretty safe structure. He could lop off this pawn whenever he wants, but he may leave it as a blocker. Blue going for promotions. Green seems to have... so green only has a rook left. But, oh, sorry, a rook and a bishop. But green probably has the easiest promotion path. Blue would have an easy promotion path, but he wants to keep his king structure safe. So, or king safety safe, so he's not going to undermine his pawn structure there. So probably green goes for promotions. Red going to go for promotions as well, but in the center of the board where it would be contested. So everyone doing their own thing. Eventually, this could be a threat of a trade. Like if this pawn moves, then this pawn could be under attack. Okay, it's a girl. So blue looking better than before. We are at the 3-player stage, so blue and green as opposites, no longer necessarily coordinating against red. It's every man for himself. Green could have taken blue's pawns. Oh, you're saying with the bishop? Yeah, potentially. So far, no one's going after this queen. I think they feel they need more ammunition. Blue's in a position where he could do that. But I think blue needs to be concerned if he starts going after the king, what if green somehow snipes a mate? He has to be careful not to let green snipe a mate. I don't think there's any way red can snipe a mate. Well, this could be a mate snipe at some point in the future. So green could try to snipe someday by cutting off a square. So if green and red think that blue may potentially get a checkmate against yellow, then they may try to stalemate the yellow king so that the points are divided up evenly among all the players. This actually cuts off this potential bishop threat from red. Oh, was that a red pawn? That was a red pawn. So red has hung a pawn. Not only that, his rook is under attack. This is actually an opportunity for green. I don't think green will do it, but green could have. Where did green move last, actually? He moved his king? Oh, he was defending this pawn, I guess. I understand that for green. But it was an opportunity where green could have undermined red structure, maybe won something. So it looks like blue would like to take all of red's pawns. On the other hand, green now has a queen. Oh, green may look for checkmate. Is this mate? Looks like mate. Let's just get 20 points. Yeah, Pepe Lu saw the main one. Green did not mate the yellow king. What are you doing, green? So they could team a mate on red, but probably not going to happen. I mean, there was a huge opportunity for green. It's pretty clear green is not a good player. Yeah, I'm just baffled why green didn't take that. Maybe green didn't want a target on his back, but I mean, you take that mate 100 days out of 100. I mean, green's still the only one really going against the yellow king. No one else can even get in there for a snipe. But still, I mean, they could have mated before and used all these other moves to promote more pawns. So green could stalemate the yellow king. I don't think he wants to, but it could happen. So green is still going for mate. He's just doing it in a really slow way. Red going for king safety. Right now this pawn is covered. Blue trying to figure out what to do. Finally green gets the mate, like 4 moves after he could have. Clumsy mate, but it works. Thanks for the follow from Grandmaster LD413. Really appreciate it. Oh, I think I missed another follow. Thanks for the follow from um, Brian C. Gomez. Really appreciate it. Hope you're doing well. So this offers I mean, he would never want to take that because he promotes there, but and he can't take that because it's defended. This has been hanging for a while, but it's a blocker. So I don't think red wants to take this pawn because it prevents blue from coming in this diagonal. Red is probably going to shuffle a bit and wait for blue and green to attack each other. I guess another possibility, well, potentially you could trade off this pawn. You could try to promote these. Oh, this pawn's a target. I assume it's going to push here. That's a threat. So if pawn push, we could see check. Does it lead anywhere? Probably not. By the way, this bishop is looking at this square. At some point, red may like blunder his rook, which wouldn't surprise me by the level of play we've seen here. And maybe, I mean, red hasn't played too terribly. It's really green that's played terribly. And of course, yellow. Or no, wait, is this the game where yellow resigned? Because, or no, red did play terrible. Red had, there's one point where red had like a free rook early on and red didn't take it. Or no, it was the rook here. When yellow was offering a rook trade and then red just removed a castle and did not take back when green took the yellow rook. And yellow resigned after that. So red played like a bonehead there. So yeah, I'm not happy with green's play, not happy with red's play. I don't think blue has made any huge blunders. Yeah, Pepe Lou is confirming. Yeah. So we very well could see red blunder this rook. Because red doesn't really understand what he's doing, doesn't seem to be good at chess. Green's plan is clear. Green wants to promote another pawn. He's turtling up to get his king safe. This queen is a good defensive piece. The bishop could still launch at some point. But basically, this is green's plan. So blue is more weighted here. See what happens. Okay, red might go for this promotion. Okay, looks like blue is now sending a pawn. Doesn't necessarily have much of a future, but we'll see. Is anyone going to stop red from promoting? I assume the rook is going to come up here. And even you might see both promotions at once. And then the green queen will defend the red queen. It's a possibility. No, he's just going to bring the rook. By the way, this pawn is hit if the rook ever moves away. These bishops are doing a pretty good job defending red's position. Okay, red gets another queen. Whoa. Green undermining this bishop. So he sacked to hurt red's position. And also pick up some points for green. But green did not have much to work with, so it's a little bit of an odd decision. Red is at 20 seconds. Red is in the danger zone. So red probably going to time out. Um, if the, I mean, this wasn't necessarily a good thing to target because red can't free move there and just lose the bishop because it was check. On the other hand, if green had like taken this knight, for example, and maybe red free moves and doesn't recapture, and then it's just a free piece for green. Yeah, so red is going to free move a lot of moves from now on. Blue still comfortable on time, green still comfortable on time. So a strategy I mentioned in an earlier arena is this is like a meta strategy. So generally what happens is these players, blue and green, will consider red to be essentially dead with no winning chances because he has so little time. So they would target each other with the expectation that red would eventually flag. However, getting wind of this strategy, some hyperbullet players have decided to intentionally sack their time. So they intentionally get low on time so that other players won't target them. And they still feel comfortable with the amount of time they have. So it's possible that red is one of these hyperbullet players who still feels comfortable with the time and is just preventing them from attacking him. Rook is under attack. So yeah, basically every move from red is going to be a pre-move. Blue and green can just wait it out and let red flag, or they can push to make more queens. Eventually, I think blue is going to push this pawn here to become a queen. The other two pawns are critical for king safety. Green, these three pawns critical for king safety. These two pawns have the future promoted. So it looks like defending this pawn. I think everyone's shuffling. If there's 3-move repetition, by the way, or like a 50-move rule with no pawn promotion, that's a win for green because green has the most points. So really it's blue who has to force the action. In the game chat, Nitro types, it says red is icy, by which he means Jesse. That would not surprise me. So icy is a known hyperbullet player. So he changed his username from Jesse something. Jesse probably his last name to Icy. Icy is not Icy Stun, it's someone different. But he's very fast. And he is one of the players who admitted that his strategy is to intentionally get low on times that people won't target him. And then win the game after they attack one another. Unfortunately for him, these players don't seem to be attacking one another. They are just shuffling. And Jesse, his time has not gone down very much. In theory, he's losing 0.1 seconds per... Oh, that hangs a rook. Losing 0.1 seconds per game. Also hangs a pawn. So this is the problem when you pre-move every move. Eventually, you're probably going to blunder. So green increasing his point lead. Yeah, exactly, Pepe Lou. Okay, finally, blue is trading with green. Now, green does not have a queen on the board. If it comes down to a 1v1, ooh, and blue is flagged. Okay, now we get to see Captain Pre-Move in action. This is an easy promotion path for red. I think he's happy to give up his 1-point queen for the rook. I really think red is likely to win this. Might be able to... Okay, so he takes the rook first. Yeah, he's stopping any chances from green. This should be pretty easy win for red. This, I'm sorry, this is the promotion square for green, which is already defended. So red has 12 seconds to win up 2 queens. This is going to be extremely easy. He can just eat all the pawns. And red... Oh, red is not icy. Okay, red is Ostre Meg 123. Still probably a hyper bullet player if I had to guess. So we only had one player who was under 2600, who was 29 Machiavelli. So second place was Yasmin. Third place was Muppet Robin. Third place was 29 Machiavelli. Yeah, Pepe Lou, that's pretty funny. Got rid of yellow by pretending to be an idiot. I mean, he might have been an actual idiot. You never know. Got rid of blue by pretending to be in time trouble. Oh, so Ostre Meg is saying in the chat, GG, sorry, yellow, I didn't see bishop. So he's arrowing the move. So red is admitting that he did not see that move, and he knows that that's the reason yellow resigned. All right, let's take a look at another game. Again, I'm going to look at the second game instead of the top game, because I assume Jonas is covering the top game. Actually, maybe let me go back. Let me just double check which game Jonas is covering. So I'm going to look at the position that Jonas has. Yeah, I think it's the top game that he's covering right now. Oh, a game has just started, by the way. And the game that has just started is the second highest. So we could look at that, but I think it's the 4 players who were there, probably in that second game. Let's look at the third game here. There's 4 games going on right now. Let's look at the third game. We're hoping to get a game with Cha-Cha in it. Whoa. Okay. Some sacks on red. That's a check on blue. But red can't take this because of the pin. That's kind of odd. Let's check on green. That's a mate on green with a double check. Wow. But red can just take that. On the other hand, blue could check red potentially. Let's see if he does. Or no, I'm sorry. Red's moved first. Okay, so yellow gets the mate, but sacks his queen for it. Red and yellow now have the benefit that they can promote their pawns pretty easily. Blue sandwiched between them. Yellow looks like he's going for king safety. Blue going for king safety. So I don't like this move from red. Red has chosen to castle to the right. The problem with this, there's a few problems. Number one, he's not going to want to promote these pawns because that would undermine his king safety. Number two, he's walking into a pin. The good part of this is he's further away from blue, so blue is less likely to attack him. But I think that was a blunder from red. I don't like that castle. This is hanging. It looks hanging. Why did he just do that? And why didn't blue like insta-take this pawn? That's kind of odd. Okay, this pawn is now defended. So yellow trying to get his king in a position where there's no like sneaky checks on him. Yellow really going for king safety. So red, even though he didn't have these promotion possibilities, his king seems reasonably safe. The king may even step up at some point. Okay, that's a free pawn for red. This undermines the pawn structure of blue, so not a fan of this move. We can see why this is the third highest rated game. These moves are not great. Okay, so blue taking a free knight, undermining his own pawn structure. I'm going to go back a little bit. Okay. A free pawn. Okay, blue undermines his pawn structure, takes a knight. Yellow going for a promotion. These would be promotion squares. Blue offering a trade. There's a trade. And in the process, yellow gains a pawn. What was that? Red just hung a knight? Why did red hang a knight? Because he's a moron, if we had to summarize. Queen was not in any danger, so he just hung a knight for nothing. So red is trying to stop the promotion of yellow, targeting this pawn now. And look at this pawn structure from yellow. Love to see it. Okay, red sacking a bishop to undermine the pawn structure, and he can potentially take this pawn, after which take this pawn, and yellow's position crumbles. This also gives blue an opportunity to attack yellow. Let's see if blue is going to utilize that. Probably not, but you never know. Okay, blue taking a free pawn from yellow. Okay. Blue gets this pawn, and they're really dismantling yellow's pawn structure. By the way, as far as the point count, red is catching up with yellow. Yellow at 27, red with 21, blue with 12. Blue furthest behind on points. Blue's king is the least safe of the three kings. Yellow's king is the most safe. But they seem to be attacking yellow. It's going to be hard for yellow to promote these pawns. So this is covered. These are covered. Oh yeah, blue trying to take care of yellow's pawns. I think blue was considering a sack. Queen takes, but he can't take the rook because red was supported. Okay. He's just retreated his bishop. This is looking more like a promotion could happen because they can support each other. So maybe blue guards this somehow. I guess this doesn't work because of the bishop. So what is red's plan? Maybe red goes after this pawn or a check on blue. The problem is if he distracts blue, then yellow can promote. He probably doesn't want to do that. So if yellow promotes, do either of them take? I don't think either of them wants to give up a piece. But we'll see. I assume yellow's going to promote. I mean, he could promote either place. Like, this is defended a bunch as well. But I think this promotion makes more sense. Because are either of them going to want to sack a piece for that? Yeah, red ruining the yellow pawn structure. So, by the way, as far as the time, yellow has a lot more time than anyone else. It's like yellow is going to shuffle. So yellow will wait for a better opportunity to promote. This pawn is unprotected. So if they want to attack a pawn, this is the pawn to attack right here. Looks like blue is going for a promotion. Now yellow promotes. And why did he choose that time? Because red is kept a little bit busy. So they're going to let yellow keep the queen. And maybe he wants a second queen, but probably he'll retreat this queen first somewhere. He could trade for bishop, but he's not going to do that. He likes his queen. Oh, he does trade for a bishop. Okay. I don't really like that decision because this promotion square is not guarded. This pawn is going to fall. So I don't know why yellow sacked for the bishop. It seemed like a bad decision. Yeah, he's not going to do that. On the other hand, if blue is keeping red busy, then yellow can promote. Yeah, so blue put this in the way so he can promote. This is a very odd move from yellow. I mean, blue basically let yellow promote, and he chose not to do it. And instead, he's attacking the queen. That's all very odd. I mean, don't get me wrong, this is a more active square, but eventually he's going to have to save. If he saves this bishop, this pawn may fall. So suppose blue moves away somewhere, uh, like there, for example. Like this is under attack, but then in the process, red may take the pawn that's on the brink of promotion. Yeah, and this is what happens. So now, is red or blue going to go after the yellow pawn? Is blue just going to promote? If blue just promotes, then yellow can promote. Probably red wants to stop one or both of these promotions. So red is stopping the yellow promotion. Let him blue promote. Okay, that's a check. Do we take this? We do. So they figured blue got too powerful. Now they're lopping up some pieces. This may be a funny time for yellow to promote. Now that red's distracted. Ooh, does red take that? That may give a mate to yellow. Or no, I guess move order. It would not. Okay, red's just going to retreat. That's an odd retreat because oh, okay, so that rook was defended. Still, why don't we take that rook? Blue is pretty powerful here. Oh, well, maybe I've been missing. This pawn is guarded, so I guess you can park that pawn there for a while. So my fault on that one. But yellow wants red to attack blue. I mean, is this a free bishop? I guess the worry is if all this stuff moves away, this promotion does happen. So this is the looming threat. I figure yellow is probably just going to shuffle for a while. Can he find a better place for this bishop is the question. Nope, he's going to bring it back to home. Okay. We do see this. I don't think the queen will take. That would be giving up a queen. So it's probably just a free bishop. By the way, if an important piece of blues is ever attacked, yellow could throw in like this sneaky move to undermine the pawn structure more. But that's not going to happen in the near term. I mean, if this happened, like we could see something like this. I'm going to show you the power of the bishop pair. Yep. Bishop pair here. Yeah, honestly, like someone who respects his bishops a lot is cha-cha. So, I mean, it's possible yellow is cha-cha. Okay, so finally yellow promotes now that this square is not guarded by red anymore. And I assume yellow wants to keep his queen. I'm going to find a good place, maybe back here. Or he may, okay. Don't really like this move, but maybe he's figuring it's fine and this knight is a thorn in his side anyway. He's not respecting the bishop there. This could be a long-term threat. Eventually he might win his queen here instead. The danger of, king here. The danger of king here is if the bishop ever moves away, this could be a threat. Ooh, wow, okay. So that was a mate threat. Try to stop the mate threat, at least temporarily, but he's undermined his pawn structure a lot. Pawns cannot move backwards. This move changes the structure. Maybe we plant the bishop here. Oh, no, guess not. Just going to retreat the bishop. Ooh, red is asking yellow a question. Blue could maybe exploit that. He's going to exploit it by going for the 1-point queen. Okay. So, assume we're going to take this. Okay, yellow is now significantly weakened. Not only that, this is a possibility. We can take the 1-point queen, undermine the structure at the same time. Yellow in shambles. So, I mean, this forces a queen trade. Or no, the problem is that yellow could protect it, I guess. Okay, yellow just resigns. Now we have a 1v1. Blue has, oh, and it's a 1v1 that is easily won by red, by virtue of red having a minute 40 and blue timing out. Okay, so this is another win for Cha-Cha. Turns out Cha-Cha was red. Yellow with spacebar. For those who don't know, spacebar is the main programmer of the 4-player chess server. So for the last, I don't know, 3-4 years, he's done all the programming. He doesn't make a lot of the decisions, so he implements what the 4-player admins ask him to. The spacebar is not the one who like made a decision to change the rating system or to change from old standard to new standard. But he did implement the decision as the admins. Hey, Cha Cha. Cha Cha, congratulations on the win there. I think that's at least 3 wins that I've seen. I don't know if you've got a 4th win, so I'm assuming that you've won this arena. So congratulations to Cha Cha. By the way, green was Jubla. Jubla, I've known about for a long time. He played on the free internet chess server as Bug. So he played a lot of Bug House in his time, but he's mostly switched to 4-player chess. He was Bug, then on chess.com. I forget what his initial username was, but eventually he changed to Angelina Kali, and then eventually to Jubla. Oh, Cha Cha got 4 out of 5. Yeah, thanks for shouting out Cha Cha Chess. We can give him other type of shout out as well. Hey, 4-player chess. Would Cha Cha be up significantly on the clock? That's a good question. No, I thought Cha Cha very well might be on the board just because of the timing of when his games had ended before. Oh, 4-player chess says 3 out of 3 would have won the tournament too. Okay. Blue was special. Yeah. So Joshua says, "How did that guy sneak in here?" I guess is he referring to spacebar or I'm not sure. Anyway, let's see if any games are still going on, even though we've decided the arena. It looks like one game's still going on. Let's check this one out. I mean, Cha Cha for sure has won the arena, but it's still interesting to watch some high-level 4-player chess. And this game, even though our winners already decided, this will count in the arena since it was started before the end time of the arena. Okay, trade offered here. Can green exploit this somehow? What can green do? I guess he could take this pawn. Let's see what green's going to do here. Okay, yellow getting in on the mix. Now green just retreats. Okay, so that's a trade. That's still a reasonable trade. It gets the rook more active. Not bad for blue. Now red is going to go for king safety. There was some arrow spam. I guess that's from the current position, not our position we're looking at right now. What was taken? Oh god. Okay. I hate it when chess.com does this. It randomly goes forward on the moves whenever someone loses or something like that. Okay. So it's kind of odd for green to trade the bishop for the knight. Oh, that's a mate threat. We got to do something about that. Okay, we can check. And yellow has resigned. That is mate for green. So let's look at the position as it is now. Green with 38 points, far ahead of everyone else on points. Green has lost 1 bishop. A bishop and a pawn. Red has lost a 1 pawn and 1 knight. And blue is down a few pieces. So blue's probably in the worst position. On the other hand, the king safety of red isn't great because 2 of these critical pawns are gone. So he can't really find refuge on either side of the board. Green has the most points, most pieces, best king safety. So green is doing well. What did he just take? Green just nabbed a pawn. Oop. Back threat. Why are we taking that? Okay, I guess because the queen defends, trying to fork. That's just another free pawn for green. Green can get out of dodge. This is a pin, but we can't do much with that pin yet. Oh. Is that really a threat? So hold on. Okay. So we could have taken this queen like a few moves. Eventually he took it. Why not take it immediately? This is just an odd move from blue. Okay, so eventually we two take it. Now green is down a queen and a piece. Green's still way ahead on points, but no longer crushing on position. This is part of the dance of the three-player stage is material balance. So they're making sure green is more balanced. Looks like blue has two queens. Chacha says last game had to resign quickly to jump into this one. Opposite just didn't develop queen. Okay. Am I caught up with the position? Not yet. We got more to go here. Oh, it looks like red getting in blue's position, but this queen's gonna, where's it gonna go? I mean, now the queen may get stuck, may get trapped, can't retreat. That queen may not be long for this world. And green can actually exploit that by attacking red, if he chooses to. Instead, green is attacking blue. Whoa, what just happened? Blue just hung his queen for nothing? Like, what? That's a blunder and a half. What's the point of, does he expect green to do something? Okay, so this is a 9-point queen hung for nothing in a 2400 plus queue. Okay, red is turtling up a bit. That was a free red pawn. Yeah, because it's supported by the rook. Okay. The red's king safety, I mean, he has a bunch of pieces, but he would much rather have a pawn structure on the side of the board here. He's sandwiched in the middle, which ties up more of his pieces, keeping his king safe. Whoa, what happened here? Looks like red got maybe a little bit ambitious. Okay, the more of red's pieces get eaten. All right, we are caught up in the live position. Oh, no, we're not. What? I'm sorry. I thought we were caught up. And more stuff happened. Okay, we are now caught up in the live position. A lot of spectators here, by the way. 15 spectators. If anyone wants to jump in commentary booth, I'm in the 4-player chess server in the commentary voice channel. Yeah, I'm all caught up now. So if this bishop ever moves away, the rook could hang. Luckily for red, there's no light squared bishops, and green doesn't have any queens. Otherwise, he's vulnerable to checks, but not right now. Green has a lot of pawns. Everyone is kind of contesting each other for promotions, though. So no immediate promotions. I mean, this would be an immediate promotion, except that it can be taken. Red targeting a free pawn. Green defends. Okay. So red losing one of his critical remaining pawns. Blue going for promotion. No one's stopping him. Now blue is going to have 2 queens. Oh, that's true. Can red somehow snipe a mate from that? The question. The answer is I don't think so. But I mean, he would like to get his queen in the mix somewhere. But I mean, red is also vulnerable. Like there could be a check in the back if he moves this queen. Red's king safety sucks. Is that mate? Looks like mate. Or no, it's not mate. There's a rook here. Not mate. So if blue mates green, not over yet because he won't be up 20 points. Although if blue takes this rook, that's going to be 25 points. Yeah, still not enough. Now he doesn't even get the rook. Now we have a 1v1. So 42 to 29. But blue is up a queen. So looking pretty good for blue. So I assume we just... Okay, I guess he's maybe defending the pawn. Blue down to 25 seconds, by the way. Red at 18 seconds. They need to get moving. A good square for the queen. 2 different threats. Red down to 2 seconds. For sure a win for blue. And blue is Ostre Meg 123. So green is second. This is Junior 0701. Red is third, 29 Machiavelli. And yellow is fourth, that Dialzu 1234. Let me check the arena stand-ins. We're pretty sure Cha-Cha won, but it's worth checking. Wait, hold on. I just missed something. Cha-Cha said something. Cha-Cha says, would it be possible to reschedule the prelim? Cha-Cha says he has a chess tournament that lasts 9 days. Starts tomorrow. So Cha-Cha may have to give up his place in the qualifier. Not sure. Oh, Liquefier pointed out a move. Let's look at that move. Move 77. Okay. They're saying 77 red. Queen N6. They really mean 77, they mean 76. Wait, Queen N6 for red. Where's N6? What? Why would that be? I don't see any time you can get to N6. Oh, are they saying it's stalemate? Oh, okay. That stops this move. That's brilliant. Very good point. Queen N6. So how would that have changed the game? Red would be up. Red can claim. That would have been a win for red rather than blue. So they're talking about who qualifies. So if people are saying congrats to Astre. We're gonna check the tourney standings, but I'm looking at this chat here, which is more important at the moment, because I think Chow Chow is saying he can't play if the preliminaries are during his tournament, and if he can't play, then he would decline his place, and then it would go to the second place, which would be Astre Mag. Yeah, Pepilo. Yeah, you saw that as well. Yeah, I was thinking about it earlier, but in the game, once Green resigned, I kind of thought that the mate was for blue, so I didn't see it in the moment. Oh, raid from Jonas Wrath. I'm not going to be streaming much longer, Jonas, but I really appreciate the raid. Let's give a shout out to Jonas. Yeah, Jonas, I was trying to cover generally the second games because I figured you were going to be covering the highest rated games. So we ended up being able to cover a lot of Cha-Cha's games because Cha-Cha ended up like he would immediately get back in queues after his game was over, and they would have the same types of players in there. So generally, he wasn't playing in the highest rated games. So we saw many Chow Chow wins. All right. So we are gonna check the arena standings just to look at what we already know. So no, wait, that's not the right one. Oh, here we go. Arena 10. Okay, so Cha Cha finished first place with 4 wins. It's an 8. Astra Meg finished second place with 3 wins. So actually, that fourth game was important. Or maybe did Astra lose some games? If Astra lost like 1 or 2 games in there, then maybe Chow Chow could have had 3 out of 3, not taken the loss from going in another game, and just won with 3 out of 3. I'm not sure. But yeah, GG to Chow Chow. Congratulations. Chow Chow says he won't be able to make it. So Chow Chow can't make it to the preliminaries or semifinals or whatever they're called, where 4 of the arena winners play against one another for one of the spots in the finals. Then the second place would go, which is Astre Meg. But congrats anyway. Cha Cha did great. I think, was this the first arena you played in, Cha Cha? He just went into arena, won his first one. Cha Cha is overpowered at 4-player chess. All right. There's going to be another arena in an hour and a half. I'm going to try my best to cover that one as well. But I don't think I'm going to stream from now until then. So we need to find someone to raid. Looks like there is another 4-player chess stream going on with Pratnesh OP. So it probably makes sense to do a 4-player chess raid. But let me check real quick to see who else is streaming. See if we see any kind of variant here. Don't see any more variant streams. So it's exciting to see a lot more 4-player chess streamers. Unfortunately, some of these streamers don't stream with a webcam, and I think Pratnesh OP, he streams with extremely loud music, no webcam, and his chat is full of Pokemon. But still, we want to support some 4-player chess streamers. So let's start a raid there. Really appreciate the raid from Jonas Wrath. Let me. Oh shoot! I did not mean to click that. Okay. I think I really screwed things up. Okay, let me check to make sure that Jonas has a sub. Because I generally like to gift a sub to the people who raid me to thank them for the raid. Let's gift a sub to Jonas Wrath. We also want to give a shout out to our friend Cha Cha Chess, who has won the arena, even though he is declining to go and reap the benefits because he is prioritizing over the board chess, probably chasing the FIDE Master title. Let's give a shout out to Cha Cha Chess. And I'll see you all in an hour and a half for another arena. I would like to have co-commentators, so if anyone's free to co-commentate, it'd be great to have someone jump in a voice chat. Okay, but for now we're going to send you to Pratnesh OP, who streams a lot of 4-player chess. He's still chasing affiliate. He has 115 followers.